Good evening, and happy Halloween. I was born and raised in the Netherlands. I've said this before, but I've been living in France for almost 20 years now. And in Europe, we know a thing or two about horror. And especially when it comes to France, there are some things you might have not necessarily heard about. And I thought it would be a great Halloween treat to introduce you to some actual European horrors. So of course on TV you're gonna see the Eiffel Tower, the Arc de Triomphe, the Champs-Élysées. You have this romanticized image of Paris. But what if I tell you there are some incredible horrors buried deep underneath Paris that you could also visit? Let me take you on a little tour. I personally think the Eiffel Tower is kind of overrated. A lot of things in Paris are overrated, like in most capital cities honestly. But the Catacombs of Paris is something I feel everybody should visit, especially if you enjoy dark tourism and the macabre. So underneath the city of Paris, you have the Catacombs. There are over 6 million remains buried there. In the 18th century, around 1770, cemeteries started to overflow around Paris. So they started moving the cemeteries into the center of Paris. And then those started to overflow. They had no place to put all the dead. So they decided to put them underneath the city. And the catacombs were born. And over the next hundreds and hundreds of years, they kept moving all the dead from all the different cemeteries into these catacombs, and then a new dead went in there. Several whole cemeteries were actually moved and transferred into the catacombs. And the great thing about the catacombs is it's not just a concept. When you walk in the catacombs, you walk in the kingdom of the dead. The walls of bones are surrounding you. And not just that, there's structures of bones created like art. The skulls have been arranged in shapes. You have incredible just statues of bones. It is immense. So the catacombs themselves are open to visit. I've been there before, and you can, it's pretty cheap. It was like $10, and I think I got a fast pass for about $40 back then. Now it is a lot more sought after, and you definitely need to book your time in advance, but you can go in there. You go down about 130 steps. These steps down already are like mentally preparing you for what's gonna happen. The whole area is about 11,000 square meters. It's massive. Like I said, the remains of over 6 million people are buried here. And there's a lot there. So when they were moving all the bodies to these catacombs, they didn't just like wheelbarrow them in. They created shafts and mines and dropped everything in there. They dropped all the bones in there, which is why you don't find a lot of rib cages, for example, because they just broke and shattered as they fell down. So the main thing you will see are skulls and femurs, because those are very strong bones. Basically the strongest of the bones stayed intact. The catacombs are so big that there's actual dangers for cave-ins. So you won't even find a lot of large buildings and structures on top. It's kind of like you have an open area somewhere in the middle of Paris because of the dangers for cave-ins. My first time in the catacombs was intense. So after you go down the stairs, the spiral staircase, you come into a very small, narrow pathway that goes angled down slightly, and this goes on for quite a while as well. And I have asthma, and I suffer from vasovagal syncope. This was a pretty intense experience for me. And I'm a Dutch guy, so I'm reasonably tall. I'm about 1.80 m, so the roof came pretty close to my head. So honestly, if you're claustrophobic, I wouldn't recommend going to the catacombs. But so you, after the staircase, there's the hallway. After the hallway, you arrive at the gate. the Gate of the Dead. They have like a small little area where they introduce what the catacombs are, and then you go straight into the catacombs.
What does the symbol mean?
Does he get karate chop the skulls?
And my first 2 steps into the catacombs, instantly you have the walls of bones around you, the walls of skulls align, and I had to sit down. It was such an oppressive feeling being down there. The atmosphere was macabre, but it's like you feel the weight of the dead when you're walking through these corridors of bones. The whole tour is about an hour approximately. The area that you're allowed to go through, because the catacombs are absolutely huge, but the area that you walk through, it's about 1.5 kilometers long, so you take about an hour to walk through it. And the atmosphere is just extremely dark. And once you realize where you are and you're looking around you, again, it's an oppressive feeling with all the dead around you, all these bones, and it is a feeling I will never forget. Any of these moments, they're engraved in my memory. It is such an intense experience, and I feel the view of the Eiffel Tower, okay, it's nice. I feel the closer you get to it, the more disappointed you will be when you see how it is all organized. You will never forget walking through the catacombs. It is absolutely beautiful in a very macabre kind of way. It is really beautiful, but you will not for a second be able to forget where you are, because the ceiling is almost right above your head, and the walls will never stop being filled with bones. And then the deeper you go, the skulls are rearranged differently. You have like skulls rearranged as crosses. You have little statues of crosses and bones. You have like a massive barrel at one point in the middle of a room with like the skulls and the femurs aligning it. I say femurs, I should say bones, but again, the type of bones that survive, you will notice similarities when you're walking through the catacombs. It is a shame that over the years, a lot of these bones have been stolen. A lot of skulls are missing. When you're seeing certain structures shaped like a cross, you might see a skull missing, or like a bone clearly ripped out from somewhere, or the skulls that have been broken over time. It is definitely a shame that this happened. I think by now they try to pay a lot more attention to this, and I don't know, maybe that adds to that atmosphere. I feel it is an experience you should not go without, especially if you enjoy dark tourism. These walls of bones around you, it feels like the spirits of the deceased are haunting you as you walk there. It is definitely, again, a very oppressive feeling and a unique experience. I hope you found this video a little bit haunting yourself. May it haunt this Halloween night. I hope you enjoyed it. I really liked bringing this video here tonight. The second I stepped into these catacombs, a feeling just overcomes you. A feeling overcomes you, and you're not even thinking that much about taking the photos or filming, because what you're taking in, again, it is just incomparable to anything else, and you're just in a different world. You truly are walking in the kingdom of the dead. So if you ever go to Paris, please check it out. It is all pretty close by. You could easily in a day do both the Eiffel Tower and the catacombs. Everything is kind of in the center in general. From that train stop, for example, it's 15 minutes walking to the catacombs. From that train stop, it is also about 20 minutes walking to the Eiffel Tower. Everything is really close by. But if you could only choose one, honestly, nothing beats visiting the kingdom of the dead. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe if you like this kind of content. If you want more dark tourism videos. I also do a lot of reactions to horror movies. I recently did another Halloween video where I talk about scary stories from my childhood. And I just like goth content in general when it comes to music or visiting fairs. You will find a lot of variation in my dark content. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe for more content like this in the future. And as always, be kind to one another, even in the dark.